Today, we will learn about what fractions are and how to read them. Without realizing, we use fractions several times in our daily life. As we say, half a kg of fruits, 2/3 of water, 1/4 chapati, etc. We also use fractions to represent time. For example, half, quarter to, quarter past, etc. Let's understand what fractions are. Today is Manav's birthday. He has invited Tina, Babita, Rahul, and Dinesh to his house. There is one whole cake, but it has to be shared among 5 friends. Can you tell me how many pieces the cake should be divided into so that everyone gets a piece? Think for a while. Absolutely correct. The cake has to be divided into 5 pieces. This is one way of dividing the cake into 5 pieces. But this is not the correct way. By doing so, all the children will not get equal parts. What can be done to solve this problem? Yes, you're right. All parts of the cake should be equal. Therefore, the whole cake should be divided into 5 equal parts. After distribution, Manav kept one piece aside. As it is one of the 5 equal parts, it can be represented like this and read as 1/5 or 1/5. A number which represents the part of a whole is called a fraction. If we keep one more piece on the plate, then the number of pieces becomes 2. Since there are 2 pieces out of 5, these 2 parts form the fraction 2/5 of the whole cake. When we talk about any fraction, for example, 2/5 here, then the line separating two numbers is called division line or by. Can you tell what does the number written below the division line represent? Think for a while. You've got it right. This represents the number of equal parts the whole is divided into. The number of equal parts to which a whole is divided into is called the denominator. The number of parts that are taken aside is represented above the division bar. Therefore, the number of parts that has been considered from all equal parts is called the numerator. In a fraction, the numerator is written above the division bar and the denominator is written below. It is not always necessary that a fraction represents a part of the whole thing. We can also use it for representing a part of a group. See here. There are 4 apples and 3 oranges. Therefore, the total number of fruits here is 7. If we have to find the fraction of apples in the total number of fruits, then how do we do it? Let me explain. Since the total number of fruits is 7, the denominator is 7, and we're considering 4 apples of them, therefore the numerator is 4. Thus, the fraction of apples among this group of fruits is 4/7. Similarly, can you find the fraction of oranges in this group? You've got it right. Here, there are 3 oranges among the group of 7 fruits. Therefore, the fraction for oranges here is 3/7. Let us see some fractions. This is 1/2 or 1/2. This is 1/3 or 1/3. This is 2/3 or 2/3. This is 1/4 or 1/4. This is 2/4 or 2/4. This is 3/4 or 3/4. This is 1/5 or 1/5. This is 2/5 or 2/5. This is 3/5 or 3/5. This is 4/5 or 4/5. I hope you have understood the concept of fractions. Today, we have learnt about what fractions are and how to read them. In the next video, we will see some examples of fractions. Today, we will see some examples of fractions. Write the fraction representing the shaded portion in each figure. In this example, fractions are represented as shaded parts. Let's identify them. You already know that fraction is a number representing part of a whole. Therefore, the fraction of shaded part is number of shaded parts by the total number of parts. In the first picture, number of shaded parts are 6 and the total number of parts is 8. Therefore, the fraction for shaded parts is expressed as 6 by 8. In the second picture, number of shaded parts is 11 and the total number of parts is 15. Therefore, the fraction is 11 by 15. In the third picture, there is a collection of 9 objects. Out of them, 5 objects are shaded. Can you tell which portion of the collection is shaded? Think for a while. You've got it right. Here, the group is divided into 9 equal parts and of them 5 parts are shaded. Therefore, the fraction is written as 5 by 9. Example 2. Shade the 2/5 part of the figure below. In this example, we have to shade 2/5 part. In the fraction 2 by 5, the denominator is 5. It represents that the given thing should be divided into 5 equal parts. Similarly, in this fraction, the numerator is 2. It represents that the 2 portions should be shaded. You can see that this whole figure is divided into 5 equal parts. Therefore, to represent 2 by 5, we have to shade any 2 parts of these 5 parts. This could be done in several ways. In each possibility, 2/5 portion is shaded. Example 3. Deepu has bought 5 oranges, 3 pomegranates and 2 apples. Out of the total number of fruits, find the fraction of oranges. Deepu has bought 5 oranges, 3 pomegranates and 2 apples. Here, the total number of fruits are 5 plus 3 plus 2, that is 10. Of these 10 fruits, 5 are oranges. Therefore, the denominator is 10 and the numerator is 5. By doing so, the fraction we get is 5 by 10. Today, we have learned some examples of fractions. In the next video, we will see some misconceptions related to it. Today, we will see some misconceptions and common mistakes related to fractions. Misconception 1. What will be the fraction to represent the shaded part in the given figure? Sometimes, while representing a fraction, it is understood that the numerator corresponds to the number of shaded parts of the figure and the denominator corresponds to the remaining part that is not shaded. By doing so, the fraction is represented as part by part. This is a misunderstanding. It leads to the incorrect answer, option 1. It is important to understand that denominator corresponds to the total number of equal parts of a whole. In this case, 5 is the denominator. Similarly, numerator is the number of parts taken. Here, number of shaded parts is 2. This means 2 out of total 5 parts are considered. Therefore, the numerator is 2. In this figure, shaded part is represented by this fraction, that is 2 by 5. So option 2 is the correct answer. Now let's understand some common mistakes related to fractions. If you're asked to find the fraction representing the shaded part in this figure, the total number of parts is written as the denominator and the number of shaded parts is represented as numerator. Thus, it results in an incorrect answer 1 by 4. To represent in fraction, first of all it is necessary to check whether all the parts are equal or not. Here, parts are not equal. Therefore, we cannot represent the shaded part as a fraction. Sometimes, it is not understood correctly that equal parts can be formed in different ways. For example, If you have 4 papers and you divide them into 2 equal parts, then how will you do it? Think for a while. Let me tell you. One way is to keep 2 out of 4 papers in each section. It will result in 2 equal parts. Another way is to cut each paper into 2 equal parts by using different ways. When you keep a half in each section, you will still get 2 equal parts of 4 papers. Similarly, there could be many ways to divide the papers, but we get 2 equal parts in all the cases. Today, we have seen some misconceptions and common mistakes related to fractions. Today, we will learn representation of fractions on the number line. We have already learned how to represent whole numbers on the number line. Just think, can we represent fractions on the number line similar to whole numbers? Yes. We can also represent fractions on the number line. We will discuss this in detail in this video. Here is a paper. Consider that we have divided it into 4 equal parts. When we look at these 4 parts collectively, this represents a whole. If we take one part out of 4 parts of the paper, then this part is 1/4 fraction of the whole part. Let's represent it on the number line. In order to do this, we will make a number line. To represent the fraction in a convenient way, we will keep the unit distance larger. Since we have made 4 equal parts of the paper, let's divide all the unit distances into 4 equal parts. Here, we have taken one part out of 4 parts. So let's take one part out of 4 parts on the number line and mark this as fraction 1/4. Similarly, if we take 2 parts of the paper, then we will write the fraction for it as 2/4. Can you tell how to represent this on the number line? Think for a while. You've got it right. To represent this, we will take 2 parts on the number line and we will mark the position as fraction 2/4. Similarly, we can represent fraction 3/4 on the number line by taking 3 parts. If we take 4 equal parts out of 4 parts, then the fraction will be 4/4, which is 4/4 is equal to 1. In this way, we can represent any fraction on the number line. Suppose we have to represent 3/5 on the number line. In order to do this, first, we will make a number line. Since the denominator of this fraction is 5, it tells us that a whole is divided into 5 equal parts. So, we will divide the distance between the points, which is also called as unit distance, into 5 equal parts. Similarly, the numerator 3 tells us that 3 parts are taken out of the 5 equal parts. That means one part on the number line will be 1/5, 2 parts 2/5, 3 parts will be 3/5, 4 parts 4/5. Similarly, if 5 out of 5 parts are taken, then the fraction will be 5/5. Can you find the position of 5/5 on the number line? Absolutely correct. This will be the position of 1, that is, 5/5 is equal to 1. In short, to represent any fraction a by b on the number line, first, we will divide unit distance into b equal parts and then count a number of parts from 0 and represent the fraction a by b. Today, we have learned representation of fractions on the number line. In the next video, we will see some examples on the representation of fractions on the number line. Today, we will see examples on representation of fractions on the number line. Ankita takes 6 minutes to go to school from her home. If she covers equal distance in every minute, then how many parts of the total distance will she be covering in 4 minutes? Represent the answer on the number line. This is Ankita's home and this is her school. Ankita takes 6 minutes to reach school from her home. Since she covers equal distance in each minute, we can say that in 6 minutes she will cover 6 parts of the total distance. We have to find out the distance she will cover in 4 minutes. As you can see, in the first minute, Ankita covers one part of the total distance, which can be represented in a fraction as 1 by 6. Similarly, in 2 minutes, she will cover two equal parts of the total distance, which can be represented as 2 by 6. In 3 minutes, she will cover 3 parts of the total distance. That means the fraction will be 3 by 6. And similarly, in 4 minutes, she will cover 4 parts of the total distance, which can be represented in a fraction as 4 by 6 parts. Now let's represent 4 by 6 on the number line. Can you find its position? Think for a while. Let me explain. In order to do this, first we will make a number line. Denominator of this fraction is 6, which tells us that there should be 6 equal parts of the unit distance. So let's make 6 equal parts of a unit distance. Since we have to take 4 parts, we will count 4 parts after 0 and represent the fraction as 4 by 6. Example 2. Which number will appear at the position shown on the number line? As you can see here, distance from 0 to 1 is divided into 12 equal parts. The number at the position which we want to know is present between two whole numbers 0 and 1. So this will be a fraction. Since this number represents 5 parts out of 12 equal parts, we can say that the fraction will be 5 by 12. Next example. Nilima has distributed 4 chocolates out of 9 chocolates. How many parts of total chocolates are distributed? Represent the answer on the number line. Let's understand this. Nilima had 9 chocolates. Out of these, she distributed 4 chocolates. Since she distributed 4 chocolates out of 9 chocolates, we can say that she has distributed 4 out of 9 parts of all the chocolates she had. To represent this on the number line, first, we will check the denominator of the fraction. Here, the denominator is 9, which tells us that the unit distance should be divided into 9 equal parts. Similarly, 4 is the numerator of this fraction. Can you tell me what you've understood from numerator 4? Think for a while. You've got it right. This tells us that out of the total equal parts, 4 parts have to be taken. So we count 4 from 0 and write the fraction as 4 by 9. Today, we have seen examples on representation of fractions on the number line. In the next video, we will see some misconceptions related to it. Today, we will see some misconceptions and common mistakes related to representation of fractions on the number line. Misconception 1. Represent the fraction of the shaded part on the number line. Most of the times, fraction of shaded part is identified incorrectly. As the 3 parts in the given figure are shaded, the numerator is 3 and the remaining 6 parts is taken as the denominator and the fraction is represented as 3 by 6. To represent this on the number line, a unit distance is divided into 6 parts and out of these 3 parts are taken to express the fraction. This is a misconception. The correct answer to this question is option 2 because here the shaded part are 3 out of 9. So the fraction will be expressed as 3 by 9. To represent this on a number line, unit distance is divided into 9 parts, out of which 3 parts are taken to mark the fraction 3 by 9 correctly. Sometimes, fraction is identified correctly and unit distance is also divided into 9 equal parts, But to represent 3 out of 9 parts, counting is done from 0 to 3 and fraction 3 by 9 is represented on third point from 0. This is a misconception. Counting of parts must start from the point next to 0. Misconception 2. On the given number line, which number represents the position of the question mark? To find the number that represents the question mark, 1 is subtracted from the numerator and denominator of the next number 7 by 8. By doing so, we get the answer 6 by 7, which is an incorrect answer. The correct understanding is that here the unit distance is divided into 8 equal parts. Out of these 8 parts, the question mark represents the 6th part. So the correct fraction at this position is 6 by 8. Now we will see some common mistakes related to representation of fractions on the number line. Many times it is observed that while making divisions on the number line, it is not divided in equal parts. This can result in difficulty in expressing the fractions on the number line. To express any fraction on the number line in a correct way, all the parts must be divided equally. Many times, parts are counted incorrectly on the number line. Look at this example. It is understood that it is divided into 5 parts by counting from 0 to 1. The correct understanding is that to find the number of parts, skip the point at 0 and start counting from the point next to 0 and count up to 1. With this understanding, there are 4 parts here. As a result of counting from 0, many times there is also a mistake in expressing fractions. Suppose if it is asked to represent 5 by 6 on the number line, then a number line is made on which 6 points are marked, and considering 0 as the first point, the 5th point is marked as 5 by 6. The correct understanding is that we must take 7 points on the number line so that the total number of parts will be 6. Today, we have seen misconceptions and common mistakes related to the representation of fractions on the number line.
Today we will learn the following types of fraction: proper fraction, improper fraction, and mixed fraction. Let's start this video with an interesting question. If you have one chocolate and you have to divide it equally among 3 persons, then how many pieces will each person get? Think about it. Let me tell you, to achieve this, we have to divide the chocolate into 3 equal pieces so that each person gets 1 piece. By doing so, each person will get 1 by 3 of the whole chocolate. The number which represents a part of the whole is called a fraction. Fraction is expressed as numerator by denominator. The number of equal parts the whole is divided into becomes the denominator, and the number of parts taken becomes the numerator. As you can see, in this fraction, the numerator, that is 1, is less than the denominator, that is 3. Fraction in which the numerator is less than the denominator is called a proper fraction. Similar to 1 by 3, there are some other fractions like 3 by 5, 6 by 7, etc. Let's represent them on number line. Can you tell how can we represent fraction on the number line? Think about it. You got it right. To represent 1 by 3 on the number line, we will divide the unit length into 3 equal parts and we take one part of it as 1 by 3. Similarly, for 3 by 5, we will divide the unit length to 5 equal parts and we take 3 parts of it as 3 by 5. Similarly, we can also express 6 by 7 on the number line. If we observe these representations on number line, you must have understood that all fractions which are on the left side of 1 are smaller than 1 and all fractions which are on the right side of 0 are greater than 0. We can say that when denominator is greater than numerator, then the value of the fraction is greater than 0 but less than 1. Fraction whose value lies between 0 and 1 is called a proper fraction. Let's assume that you have 5 chocolates and you have to divide them equally among 3 people. Then how many pieces will each person get? For this, we have to divide each chocolate into 3 equal parts and give a part of each chocolate to each person. By doing this, each person will have 5 parts of 1/3 chocolate. Therefore, we can say that each person will get 5/3 chocolate. In this fraction, 5 is the numerator and 3 is the denominator. Is this a proper fraction? Think about it. You got it right. Here, the numerator is greater than the denominator. Therefore, it cannot be a proper fraction. Fraction in which the numerator is greater than the denominator is called an improper fraction. If you consider a box and things in it as a fraction, then the denominator represents the number of things that can be placed inside the box, whereas numerator represents the actual number of things in the box. Improper fraction means that the number of things in the box are more than its capacity. That means more than one box is required to place these things. Some other improper fractions are 7/2, 11/3, and 16/7, etc. Let's also represent them on the number line. To represent 7/2 on the number line, first we will divide the unit length to 2 equal parts and take 7 such parts on the number line. Similarly, to represent 11/3, we will divide unit length to 3 equal parts and take 11 such parts on the number line. Similarly, for 16/7, we will divide unit length to 7 equal parts and take 16 such parts on the number line. As you can see, here each fraction is lying on the right side of 1. Therefore, it's greater than 1. Therefore, we can say that whenever the numerator is greater than the denominator, the value of this fraction is greater than 1, such fraction is called as an improper fraction. There is another way to divide 5 chocolates among 3 people. First, we will give 1 whole chocolate to each person. Remaining 2 chocolates will be equally divided into 3 parts and 2 parts are given to each person. This way, each person has 1 whole chocolate and 2 parts out of 3. This can be expressed as 1/2. As you can see, in this fraction, there is a whole number and a proper fraction. Fractions having a whole number and a proper fraction are called mixed fractions. Some other examples of mixed fractions are 1, 1/2, 2, 1/4, 3, 3/5, etc. Today we have learned the following types of fraction. In the next video, we will see some examples related to this. Today we will see some examples related to the following types of fraction. Identify proper fraction, improper fraction, and mixed fraction from the following. Whenever the value of denominator is greater than the numerator, then it is a proper fraction. The value of this fraction is greater than 0 but less than 1. So, among the given numbers, 23/25 and 13/19 are proper fractions. Similarly, can you guess the type of fraction when the value of the numerator is greater than the value of the denominator? Think about it. You got it right. Such fractions are improper fractions. The value of this fraction is greater than 1. So, among the given numbers, 13/7 and 17/14 are improper fractions. Similarly, fraction having a whole number and a proper fraction is called a mixed fraction. Therefore, among the given numbers, 1 3 by 8 and 5 12 by 17 are mixed fractions. Now we will see some examples related to conversion of fractions. Before doing that, first let's understand how to convert fractions. Let's assume we have 5 chocolates. We have to divide them into 3 equal parts. In order to do so, we will divide each chocolate into 3 equal parts. Now we will place each part of one chocolate as one group to make 3 equal parts of 5 chocolates. Now find how many chocolates will be there in each part. Think about it. Let me tell you, since we have divided each chocolate into 3 equal parts, the denominator will be 3, and since we have taken 5 parts, the numerator will be 5. Therefore, each part has 5 by 3 chocolates. This is an improper fraction. Let's convert it into a mixed fraction. If we take 3 parts from total 5, then we will get 1 whole chocolate. Now find the fraction for the remaining part of the chocolate. Since we are left with 2 parts out of 3, therefore the fraction is 2 by 3. This way, a whole chocolate and 2 by 3 chocolate can be expressed together as 1 2 by 3. In order to do this conversion mathematically, we divide the numerator by the denominator, which means we express 5 by 3 in division form. Upon dividing, we get the quotient and the remainder. Now, we express the mixed fraction in this way. Therefore, we get mixed fraction 1 2 by 3. Similarly, if we have to convert a mixed fraction 1 2 by 3 into an improper fraction, then how will we do it? As you can see, here the denominator is 3. Therefore, we will divide all whole chocolates into 3 equal parts. Here the number in each part is 5 and the denominator is 3. Therefore, improper fraction is written as 5 by 3. In order to do this conversion mathematically, first we multiply the whole number with the denominator and add the result to the numerator. Here, 1 is multiplied by 3 and 2 is added to get 5, which means first we find all parts taken. Now below the result, that is, in place of denominator, we write the number of parts into which the whole is divided. By doing this, we get 5 by 3, which is an improper fraction. Therefore, in this way, we can express an improper fraction into a mixed fraction and a mixed fraction into an improper fraction. Next example, out of the following, which statement is correct? If we have to divide 40-meter rope into 7 parts, then the length of each part is determined by dividing 40 by 7. This is expressed in fraction as 40 by 7. Therefore, option 1 is correct. The length 40 by 7 is expressed in the form of an improper fraction. Let's represent it as a mixed fraction. To express it in a mixed fraction, we divide numerator, that is 40, by denominator, that is 7. Upon dividing, we get the quotient as 5 and the remainder as 5. Now we write the mixed fraction in this way. Therefore, the mixed fraction is 5 by 7. That means option 2 is also correct. Today we have seen some examples related to following types of fraction. In the next video, we will see some misconceptions related to this. Today we will see some misconceptions related to following types of fraction. Misconception 1. Mona and Reena are doing their homework on fractions. They have to convert 7 by 4 into a mixed fraction. Mona wrote 3 1/4 as its mixed fraction and Reena wrote 1 3/4. Can you tell whose answer is correct? Sometimes, during conversion of an improper fraction into a mixed fraction, quotient and remainder are not written correctly in the form of a mixed fraction. As for 7 by 4, 7 is divided by 4. By doing so, we get 1 as quotient and 3 as remainder. But while writing a mixed fraction, remainder is written in the place of whole and quotient is written in the place of numerator. From this, we get an incorrect answer, that is 3/1/4. That means Mona's answer is incorrect. The correct way is that we have to write the quotient in the place of whole number and remainder in the place of numerator. Therefore, the correct mixed fraction is 1/3/4. That means option 2 is correct. Misconception 2. Upon dividing a stick into 7 equal parts, the length of each part is 2/3 by 7 inch. What will be the conversion of this length into an improper fraction? While converting a mixed fraction into an improper fraction, sometimes the result obtained by multiplying the whole number with numerator is written in the place of numerator. This gives an incorrect answer, 6 by 7. The correct way is that while converting a mixed fraction into an improper fraction, we have to multiply whole number with denominator and the resultant is added to numerator. In this example, we multiply 2 with 7 and the result is added to 3. By doing so, we get 17 in the numerator and by placing 7 in the denominator, we get an improper fraction 17 by 7 inch. That means option 2 is correct. Sometimes to obtain an improper fraction, values of both the whole number and the numerator are written together. By doing so, we get an incorrect answer, that is 23 by 7. Misconception 3. Samir has taken 3 circular papers and divided each into 8 equal parts. If Samir takes 11 parts out of them, what will be the fraction for number of parts taken by him? Since Samir divides each circular paper into 8 equal parts, it is assumed that the total parts are 24. Also, since total number of parts is written as denominator, we take 24 as denominator. Similarly, number of parts taken are 11, which is considered as numerator. Therefore, fraction for the given statement is 11 by 24. This is an incorrect way. Here the mistake is in understanding the correct meaning of denominator. The number of equal parts to which the whole is divided is the denominator. Here, one circle is divided into 8 equal parts, therefore 8 is the denominator. Samir has divided each circular paper into 8 equal parts. So we can say that one whole is formed from 8 parts. Samir has taken 11 parts from the total, from which one whole part can be formed from 8 parts. Now we are left with 3 parts. Can you tell which part of whole they make? This is 3/8 part of whole. This way, 1 whole and 3/8 part of whole can be expressed as 1/3/8. That means option 2 is correct. This is a mixed fraction. Let's convert it into an improper fraction. In order to convert a mixed fraction into an improper fraction, multiply whole number with denominator and add the result to numerator, just like we multiply 1 by 8 and add 3 to the result. By doing so, we get 11. By writing 8 in the place of denominator, we get an improper fraction 11 by 8. From this, you must have understood that to express a fraction, write the number of equal parts into which whole is divided in the place of denominator and the number of parts taken in the place of numerator. It means option 3 is also correct. Since option 2 and option 3 both are correct, option 4 is the correct answer. Today, we have seen some misconceptions related to following types of fraction.
Today, we will learn the following concepts related to fractions. Rahul, Meena and Nikhil are playing a game. They took 4 similar strips of paper. They folded the first paper and made 3 equal parts of it. Similarly, they made the second strip into 6 equal parts, the third strip into 9 equal parts, and the fourth strip into 12 equal parts. If they have to share the parts of each strip equally among themselves, how will they do it? Think for a while. Let me tell you. Everyone will receive one part out of 3 parts from the first strip. That means everyone will get 1/3 part of the first strip. Now, there are 6 parts of the second strip, so everyone will receive 2 out of 6 parts. That means each person will get 2 by 6 parts of the second strip. Similarly, each will get 3 by 9 parts from the third strip and 4 by 12 parts from the fourth strip. Now let's discuss the parts received by Rahul. Now, if you look at these fractions, then they may appear different to you. But if we place the parts one over another, then we will find that these are covering one another completely. What do you understand by this? Think for a while. You are absolutely correct. We can understand that these fractions have equal size. That means all these fractions represent equal parts of a whole. Therefore, the value of fractions 1 by 3, 2 by 6, 3 by 9 and 4 by 12 are equal. The fractions whose values are equal are called equivalent fractions. Tell me, how many 6 are present in the fraction 1 by 3? Think for a while. Absolutely correct. 1/3 is equal to 2 6. Similarly, can you tell me how many 12ths are there in 1/3? Think for a while. Absolutely correct. 1/3 is equal to 4 12ths. Now let's try to represent these fractions on the number line. If you look at these fractions, then they may appear different to you. But if we represent them on the number line, that is, we are representing 1/3 like this, 2 6ths like this, 3 9ths like this, and 4 12ths like this, then we can observe that all these fractions are marked at a similar point on the number line. Similarly, we can understand that the value of all these fractions is equal. That means all these fractions are equivalent fractions. One of the ways to find the equivalent fractions of any given fraction is to multiply its numerator and denominator by the same number. For example, multiplying the numerator and denominator of 1 by 3 with 2 will give 2 by 6. Multiplying with 3 gives 3 by 9 and with 4 gives 4 by 12, which are equivalent fractions. Similarly, in order to find the equivalent fractions of any given fraction, we can divide its numerator and denominator by the same number. For example, to find the equivalent fractions of 6 by 18, the numerator and denominator can be divided by 2, which gives equivalent fraction 3 by 9. Similarly, dividing by 3 will give an equivalent fraction of 2 by 6. And similarly, dividing by 6 will give an equivalent fraction of 1 by 3. To find the equivalent fraction by division, it is necessary to find the common factors of numerator and denominator. Now let's understand what is the simplest form of a fraction. Suppose there is a cake and we have to divide it into 12 equal parts. If we take out 8 parts from it, then the fraction represented by the parts taken is written as 8 by 12. Here, the numerator is 8 and the denominator 12. Since both numbers are even, therefore, 2 is the common factor of these two numbers. If we divide 8 and 12 by 2, then we will get the equivalent fraction of 8 by 12 as 4 by 6, which can be represented like this. 2 is the common factor of both 4 and 6, so this can also be divided by 2. This results in an equivalent fraction of 2 by 3. Now here we can see that there is no common factor of the numerator and denominator except 1. So we cannot divide it further. So we can say that the simplest form of 8 by 12 is 2 by 3. The fraction in which the numerator and the denominator have no common factor except 1 is called as the simplest form or lowest form of a fraction. Today, we learned the following concepts related to fractions. Today, we will see examples on the following concepts related to fractions. One day, Shelley brought 2 chocolates with her. Both chocolates were of similar size. She divided the first chocolate into 5 equal parts and gave 2 parts to Nisha. Similarly, she divided the second chocolate into 15 equal parts and gave 6 parts to Ishan. Does Shelley give equal parts of chocolate to both? Shelley divided the first chocolate into 5 equal parts and gave 2 parts to Nisha. This means she gave 2 by 5 parts of chocolate to Nisha. Then she divided the second chocolate into 15 equal parts and gave 6 parts to Ishan. This means she has given 6 by 15 parts of chocolate to Ishan. We want to find out whether Shelley gave equal parts of chocolate to both. When both of these fractions are equivalent fractions, then we can say that they have equal value. That means both received an equivalent share. So let's find whether 2 by 5 and 6 by 15 are equivalent fractions or not. If we multiply the numerator and denominator of 2 by 5 by 3, then we get the fraction 6 by 15. Similarly, if we divide the numerator and denominator of 6 by 15 by 3, then we get the fraction 2 by 5. Whenever the numerator and denominator of a fraction are multiplied or divided by the same number, then we get its equivalent fraction. Therefore, we can say that 2 by 5 and 6 by 15 are equivalent fractions. This means Shelley had given equal parts of chocolate to both. There is another interesting way to do this. This method is called cross-multiplication method. In this method, we write the fractions as 2 by 5 is equal to 6 by 15. Then, we multiply the numerator of the first fraction with the denominator of the second fraction, and we multiply the numerator of the second fraction with the denominator of the first fraction. If we get the same product on both sides, then we can say that both of these fractions are equivalent fractions. Here, the product of 2 into 15 is 30, and the product of 6 into 5 is 30. Since the product on both sides is equal, we can say that 2 by 5 is equal to 6 by 15. Example 2. There are 45 students in Rohan's classroom. Out of these, 27 students are boys and the rest of them are girls. Find the simplest form of the fraction representing the strength of girls. Here, the number of girls is equal to number of all the students minus the number of boys. That is, 45 minus 27, which is equal to 18. Since there are 18 girls out of 45 students, the fraction will be 18 by 45. To represent this in simplest form, first, we will do the prime factorization of 18 and 45. Then, we represent the factors of 18 and factors of 45 like this. Can you tell what will be the HCF of this? Absolutely right. The common factors of both are 3 into 3. Therefore, HCF will be 9. Then, we will divide the numerator and the denominator of 18 by 45 by HCF 9. By doing so, we will get the simplest form of the fraction 2 by 5. To derive the simplest form, we can represent the numerator and the denominator in their prime factors and cancel the common factors of the numerator and denominator. Next example, represent the fraction of shaded part in the given figures. Are all these equivalent fractions? In the first figure, there are 3 equal parts out of which 2 are shaded. So the fraction of the shaded part in the first figure will be 2 by 3. In the second figure, there are 6 equal parts out of which 4 parts are shaded. So the fraction of the shaded part will be 4 by 6. In the third figure, there are 12 equal parts out of which 8 parts are shaded. So the fraction of the shaded part in the third figure will be 8 by 12. By looking at the figures, it appears that the values of all these fractions are equal. But the correct way to find this is to represent these fractions on the number line. Divide the unit distance into 3 equal parts on the number line, and 2 parts of these are represented by the fraction 2 by 3. Similarly, we will represent 4 by 6 and 8 by 12 on the number line. As you can see that the fractions 2 by 3, 4 by 6 and 8 by 12 are represented at the same position on the number line. So, their values are equal. That means all these fractions are equivalent. Today, we have seen examples on following concepts related to fractions. In the next video, we will discuss some misconceptions. Today, we will see some misconceptions and common mistakes related to the following concepts. Misconception 1. Ishan and Nisha were finding the equivalent fraction of 5 by 7. Ishan has written it as 6 by 8 and Nisha has written it as 10 by 14. Find out who wrote the correct equivalent fraction of 5 by 7. Sometimes there is a misconception that adding the same number to the numerator and the denominator of a fraction gives its equivalent fraction. In this way, Ishan had definitely added 1 to the numerator and the denominator of 5 by 7. Therefore, he got fraction 6 by 8, which is incorrect. So option 1 is the wrong answer. The correct understanding is that whenever the numerator and denominator of a fraction is multiplied or divided by the same number, then we get its equivalent fraction. Here, Nisha has multiplied the numerator and the denominator of 5 by 7 with 2 and obtained the fraction 10 by 14. This is an equivalent fraction of 5 by 7. Therefore, option 2 is the correct answer. Misconception 2. One day, the teacher had written fraction 14 by 42 on the blackboard and asked the students to write it in the simplest form. Shaili has given 7 by 21 as an answer and Akshay has given 1 by 3 as an answer. Who wrote it correctly? The last digit of 14 and 42 is even, so the numerator and the denominator can be divided by 2. The obtained result 7 by 21 is considered as the simplest form of 14 by 42. Mistakenly, it is considered that the fraction cannot be simplified further. Therefore, Shaili has given the wrong answer. In any fraction, if only 1 is the common factor of the numerator and the denominator, then it is called as the simplest form of the fraction. To obtain the simplest form, we will first find the HCF of the numerator and the denominator. Here, the HCF is 14. Then, we will divide the numerator and the denominator by the HCF. By doing so, we get the simplest form of 14 by 42 as 1 by 3. That means Akshay has given the correct answer. Now let's see some common mistakes related to equivalent fractions. Sometimes, students understand that by multiplying or dividing the numerator and the denominator of a fraction with the same number gives the other fraction, then those two fractions are equivalent fractions. But when they are asked if 5 by 10 and 8 by 16 are equivalent fractions, then they observe that by multiplying or dividing the numerator and the denominator of 5 by 10 by any number does not give 8 by 16. Similarly, multiplying and dividing 8 by 16 by any number does not give 5 by 10. So, it is misunderstood that both these fractions are not equivalent fractions. As you can see, both 5 by 10 and 8 by 16 represent equal parts. So, they have equal values. That means both are equivalent fractions. By finding the simplest form of the fraction also, we can check whether the given fractions are equivalent fractions or not. Today, we have seen misconceptions and common mistakes related to the following concepts. Today, we will learn about like and unlike fractions. Look here. Here are some figures. Can you tell what is special about them? Think for a while. Absolutely correct. All of these are divided into 8 equal parts. Since 3 out of 8 parts are shaded in the first figure, therefore, the fraction of shaded parts can be represented as 3 by 8. Similarly, The shaded parts in the second figure is 5 by 8 and the shaded parts in the third figure is 7 by 8. Can you identify the similarity in these fractions by looking at them? Yes, their denominators are equal. Fractions with equal denominators are called like fractions. Now look at these figures. As you can see, the first figure is divided into 8 equal parts, the second figure is divided into 6, and the third into 12 equal parts. Since 5 out of 8 are shaded in the first figure, the fraction of the shaded parts can be represented as 5 by 8. Similarly, the shaded part of the second figure is 4 by 6 and the third is 9 by 12. The denominators of all these three fractions are not equal. Fractions in which denominators are not equal are called unlike fractions. In many situations, it becomes necessary to convert unlike fractions into like fractions. Examples are comparison of fractions, addition or subtraction of fractions, etc. So let's understand how to convert unlike fractions into like fractions. Look here, there are two fractions 2 by 3 and 3 by 4. These are unlike fractions because they have different denominators. To convert them into like fractions, first, we calculate the LCM of the denominators of both fractions. The LCM of two numbers is the smallest value which is completely divided by the two numbers. Here, the LCM of denominators 3 and 4 is 12. We now find the equivalent fractions of both the fractions whose denominator will be the LCM. For this, we multiply the numerator and denominator of 2 by 3 by 4 and the numerator and denominator of 3 by 4 by 3. Thus, the equivalent fraction of 2 by 3 is 8 by 12 and 3 by 4 is 9 by 12. Since the denominator of both fractions is equal, we say that we have converted 2 by 3 and 3 by 4 into like fractions. Today, we have learnt like and unlike fractions. In the next video, we will see some examples of these. Today, we will see some examples of like and unlike fractions. Nisha purchased different colored bottles from a shop. She purchased 3 red bottles, 2 green bottles, and 5 yellow bottles. Can you tell whether the fractions representing the parts of red bottles and yellow bottles are like fractions or not? Nisha purchased 3 red bottles, 2 green bottles, and 5 yellow bottles. So, she purchased a total of 10 bottles. Of these, the red bottles are 3 out of 10. So, the fraction will be 3 by 10. Similarly, yellow will be 5 by 10. Here, you can see that the denominators in both fractions, 3 by 10 and 5 by 10, are equal, that is, 10. The fractions in which the denominators are equal are called like fractions. Therefore, 3 by 10 and 5 by 10 are like fractions. Next example. Are 8 by 9 and 5 by 12 like fractions? If they are not, then find their like fractions. We call any two fractions as like fractions only when their denominators are equal. Here, 8 by 9 and 5 by 12 do not have equal denominators, so they are not like fractions. Fractions in which denominators are not equal are called unlike fractions. To convert unlike fractions into like fractions, first we calculate the LCM of the denominators. LCM of 9 and 12 can be got like this. Therefore, the LCM of 9 and 12 is 2 into 2 into 3 into 3, that is 36. After finding the LCM, we find the equivalent fractions for both fractions in which the denominator will be equal to the LCM. For this, we will multiply the numerator and denominator of 8 by 9 by 4 and the numerator and denominator of 5 by 12 by 3. Thus, we will get the equivalent fraction of 8 by 9 as 32 by 36 and the equivalent fraction of 5 by 12 as 15 by 36. Since the denominators of both these fractions are equal, we can say that we have converted 8 by 9 and 5 by 12 into like fractions 32 by 36 and 15 by 36 respectively. Next example. Sanika was doing her homework. She had to make a group of like fractions from the given numbers 21 by 45, 6 by 45, 11 by 13, 43 by 45, 13 by 11. So she made the following group of numbers. Did she make correct groups of like fractions from the given numbers? If not, find out what mistake she made. We call two or more than two fractions as like fractions when their denominators are equal. In the first group, we can observe that denominators of all the fractions are equal. Therefore, the fractions in the first group are like fractions. In the second group, we see that the denominators are not equal. So, these are not like fractions. If denominators of two or more than two fractions are not equal, they are called unlike fractions. Here, Sanika misunderstood that 11 by 13 and 13 by 11 are like fractions. Today, we have seen examples of like and unlike fractions. In the next video, we will see some misconceptions related to them. Today, we will see some misconceptions and common mistakes related to like and unlike fractions. Misconception 1. Rahul and Rajesh were talking to each other. Rahul said that if the values of fractions are equal, then they're like fractions, whereas Rajesh said that if the denominators of fractions are equal, only then they are like fractions. Who is correct between the two of them? Most of the times, it is understood that if the value of fractions are equal, then they are like fractions. For example, the values of 4 by 9 and 8 by 18 are equal, so they are considered as like fractions. This is incorrect. That means Rahul is incorrect. The correct understanding is that if denominators of fractions are equal, whether the numerators are equal or not, then such fractions are called like fractions. Therefore, Rajesh is right. Misconception 2. Identify the like fractions from the following fractions. Fractions in which the denominators are equal are called like fractions. In the given fractions, the denominators of 3 by 7 and 4 by 7 are equal, so they are like fractions. Therefore, option 1 is the correct answer. Many times there is a misconception that if the numerators of the fractions are the same, then they are like fractions. With this misconception, 3 by 7 and 3 by 8 are considered to be like fractions, which is wrong. So, option 2 is incorrect. Now let's understand some common mistakes related to these. Sometimes, while making the denominators equal in two fractions, students do not multiply the numerators. This changes the value of the fractions. For example, if we need to make the denominators of 2 by 3 and 3 by 5 equal, then first we find the LCM of the denominators. Here, the LCM of 3 and 5 is 15. Then, to make the denominators equal, the denominator of 2 by 3 is multiplied by 5 to get 2 by 15. Similarly, to make the denominator of 3 by 5 also 15, the denominator is multiplied by 3 to get 3 by 15. This is incorrect. We must multiply both the numerator and denominator by 5 to get 10 by 15, which is the equivalent fraction of 2 by 3. Similarly, multiplying the numerator and denominator of 3 by 5 by 3 gives its equivalent fraction of 9 by 15. Now, 10 by 15 and 9 by 15 have equal denominators. Many times, to make the denominators equal, children add the same number to both the numerator and denominator. For example, to make the denominators of 2 by 3 and 3 by 5 equal, 2 is added to the numerator and denominator of 2 by 3 to get 4 by 5. This is incorrect. Today, we have seen misconceptions and common mistakes related to like and unlike fractions. Today, we will learn comparison of fractions. In general, we can easily compare whole numbers. For example, 23 marbles are more as compared to 12 marbles. But comparing fractions is not easy. For instance, 14 by 23 may appear greater than 2 by 3, but in reality it is smaller. To find out which fraction is smaller and which is greater, it is necessary to understand how to compare fractions. So let's first understand how to compare like fractions. Fractions whose denominators are equal are called like fractions. Here is one chocolate. We have made 15 equal parts of it. If we take 4 parts from it, then the fraction will be 4 by 15. Similarly, the fraction of 7 parts will be 7 by 15. Through this, we understand that the total number of parts is equal, but the numerators are different. Since the numerator represents the number of parts that are taken, the fraction whose numerator is greater will be the greater fraction. Therefore, for any two fractions whose denominators are equal, the fraction with the greater numerator is of greater value. Since the numerator 7 of 7 by 15 is greater than the numerator 4 of 4 by 15, therefore the fraction 7 by 15 is greater than 4 by 15. Now suppose the denominators of fractions are not equal, then how will you compare them? Think for a while. Let me tell you, fractions whose denominators are not equal are called unlike fractions. Now let's learn how to compare such fractions. First, we will compare fractions with equal numerators. Suppose we have taken two similar cakes. We made 5 equal pieces of one cake and 8 equal pieces of another cake. If we compare one piece of each cake, then we can say that the size of one piece of cake which is cut into 5 pieces is bigger than the size of one piece of cake which is cut into 8 parts. Since we can express these fractions as 1 by 5 and 1 by 8, we can say that the fraction 1 by 5 is greater than 1 by 8. Similarly, if we take 3 pieces from each cake, then the fraction will be 3 by 5 and 3 by 8. Here also, we can say that the fraction 3 by 5 is greater than 3 by 8. But for the fraction whose denominator is smaller, the size of each piece will be bigger. Thus, the value of all the parts of this fraction is greater when compared to the parts of the other fractions. Therefore, for any two fractions, if the numerators are equal, then the fraction with the smaller denominator will be the greater fraction. Now imagine if both numerators and denominators of fractions are not equal, then how do we compare them? Suppose we take two similar types of paper. We make 3 parts of one and 5 parts of another. If we take one part of the first paper, it will be represented as a fraction 1 by 3. Similarly, if we take 2 parts of the second paper, then it will be represented as 2 by 5. Here, the denominators of both are not equal, and nor is the shape of their parts. Similarly, their numerators are also not equal. That is, the number of parts taken is different. Therefore, it is difficult to compare them. In such situations, we need to make the denominator equal in both fractions by finding their common denominator. Since the denominator of each fraction represents the total equal parts of a whole, making the denominators of the two fractions equal means making their total number of parts equal. In order to do this, we will find the equivalent fraction with the same denominators for both fractions. For this, we will first find the LCM of the denominators. Since the LCM of 3 and 5 is 15, it is clear that we need to make 15 equal parts of each paper so that the denominator of both the fractions will be 15. We will multiply the numerator and denominator of 1 by 3 by 5 to get the fraction 5 by 15. Similarly, the fraction 2 by 5 is multiplied by 3 to get 6 by 15. Here, the denominators are equal. When the denominators are equal, then the fraction with greater numerator is greater. Since the numerator 6 of 6 by 15 is greater than the numerator of 5 by 15, therefore, the fraction 6 by 15 is greater than 5 by 15. Thus, the fraction 2 by 5 is greater than 1 by 3. Thus, we can say that when the denominators of fractions are equal, then the fraction with the smaller numerator is small and the fraction with the larger numerator is big. When the numerators of fractions are equal, then the fraction with the smaller denominator is big and the fraction with the bigger denominator is small. When the numerators and denominators of fractions are not equal, then take the LCM of the denominators, convert the fraction into equivalent fractions, thus making denominators equal, and compare their numerators. Today, we have learnt the comparison of fractions. In the next video, we will see some examples related to it. Today, we will see some examples of comparison of fractions. Samir brought a chocolate. He gave 2 by 7 parts of it to Rahul and 3 by 7 parts to Nirav. Can you tell who got the bigger portion? Rahul got 2 by 7 parts of the chocolate and Nirav got 3 by 7 parts. The denominators of both fractions are the same. That means the total number of parts is the same. Therefore, both of these fractions are like fractions. If we have to compare them, then how will we do it? Think for a while. Let me tell you, since the numerators of these fractions are different, it means the number of parts taken is different. Numerator 3 of 3 by 7 is greater than the numerator 2 of 2 by 7. Therefore, the fraction 3 by 7 is greater than the fraction 2 by 7. Thus, Nirav got more chocolate. Next example, Prakash, Rakesh and Raju require 7 by 8, 7 by 9 and 11 by 12 hours respectively to complete a task. Who will complete the work first and who will complete it last among the three? The person who takes the least time to complete the task will be the first to complete the task, and the person who takes the longest will be the last to complete the task. So in this example, in order to compare the fractions, we need to arrange them in a certain order. Let's arrange them in ascending order. If we consider the two fractions 7 by 8 and 7 by 9, then the numerators of these two fractions are equal, but the denominators are not equal. When the numerators of fractions are equal, then the fraction with the larger denominator will be the smaller one. Since the denominator 9 of 7 by 9 is greater than the denominator 8 of 7 by 8, the fraction 7 by 9 is smaller than 7 by 8. If we compare 7 by 9 and 11 by 12, then neither the denominators are equal nor the numerators. So, we will use LCM here. Since the LCM of 9 and 12 is 36, we will make both the denominators equal to 36. Since 4 times 9 is 36, we will multiply the numerator and denominator 7 by 9 by 4 to get the fraction 28 by 36. Similarly, 3 times 12 is 36, so we multiply the numerator and the denominator of 11 by 12 by 3 to get 33 by 36. The denominators of both the fractions are now equal. When the denominators of the fractions are equal, then the fraction with the smaller numerator is smaller. Since the numerator 28 of 28 by 36 is smaller than the numerator 33 of 33 by 36, the fraction 28 by 36 is smaller than 33 by 36. Thus, we can say that the fraction 7 by 9 is smaller than 11 by 12. Since 7 by 9 is smaller than the fraction 7 by 8 and 11 by 12, this is the smallest fraction. Now let's compare 7 by 8 and 11 by 12. The denominators of both these fractions are not equal. So first, we make the denominators equal. It is not always necessary that we use LCM to make the denominators equal. Let's learn another interesting method to do that. Here, the numerator 7 and the denominator 8 of the fraction 7 by 8 are multiplied by 12 to get 84 by 96. Similarly, the numerator and denominator of 11 by 12 are multiplied by 8 to get 88 by 96. Here the numerator 84 is smaller than the numerator 88. Therefore, the fraction 84 by 96 is smaller than 88 by 96. That means 7 by 8 is smaller than the fraction 11 by 12. Therefore, the largest fraction is 11 by 12. Now, We will arrange the numbers from smallest to largest to get the numbers in ascending order. By reversing it from the largest to the smallest, we put the numbers in descending order. Therefore, Rakesh requires the least time to complete the task. That means he will complete the task first, and because Raju requires the maximum time to complete the task, he will be the last one to complete the task. Today, we have seen examples of comparison of fractions. In the next video, we will see some misconceptions related to this. Today, we will see some misconceptions and common mistakes related to the comparison of fractions. Misconception 1. Rahul has 2 1/4 meter long rope and Naresh has a 10 by 4 meter long rope. Who has the longer rope? Sometimes it is misunderstood that mixed fraction is greater than improper fraction because it contains one or more than one whole parts. Due to this misconception, it is understood that Rahul has the longer rope. This is an incorrect understanding. To find the longer rope, we have to compare 2 1/4 meter and 10 by 4 meter. In order to do this, we have to either convert 2 1/4 into an improper fraction or we have to convert 10 by 4 into a mixed fraction. Here, we will convert 2 1/4 into an improper fraction. To do so, we will keep the denominator as it is and we multiply the whole number 2 with the denominator 4 and add the numerator 1 to it. And then we write the result in the place of the numerator. So the fraction will become 9 by 4. Now we will compare it with 10 by 4. Since the denominators are equal here, we will compare the numerators 10 and 9. Therefore, 10 by 4 is greater than 9 by 4. That means Naresh has the longer rope. Misconception 2. One day Manish was comparing the fractions 4 by 5 and 7 by 9. According to him, the fraction 4 by 5 is smaller than 7 by 9. Is his answer correct? Sometimes denominators are ignored and it is understood that the fraction with the smaller numerator is small. Here, the numerator 4 is smaller than the numerator 7. Therefore, the fraction 4 by 5 is considered to be smaller than 7 by 9 and option 1 is the chosen answer. This is incorrect. Here, since neither numerators nor denominators are equal, we will have to make the denominators equal. That means we need to make the shape of the parts equal. We will do this by using LCM. The LCM of 5 and 9 is 45. To make the denominator of 4 by 5 is 45, we multiply the numerator and denominator by 9 to get 36 by 45. Similarly, in order to make the denominator of 7 by 9 equal, we multiply the numerator and denominator by 5 to get 35 by 45. Since 35 by 45 is smaller than 36 by 45, 7 by 9 is smaller than 4 by 5. Hence, Manish's answer is incorrect and he chooses option 2. You can also make a strip of fractions to find the smaller fraction. Here, this strip is divided into 5 equal parts where the 4 parts represent the fraction 4 by 5. Similarly, this strip is divided into 9 equal parts where 7 parts represent the fraction 7 by 9. If we compare these strips, we can see that the strip representing the fraction 7 by 9 is smaller than the strip representing the fraction 4 by 5. Therefore, the fraction 7 by 9 is smaller than 4 by 5. Now let's see some common mistakes that occur during the comparison of fractions. Often, it is remembered that the fraction with the smaller denominator is the larger fraction. With this understanding, the numerators of 1 by 5 and 8 by 10 are ignored, and by comparing the denominators, it is understood that 1 by 5 is a bigger fraction than 8 by 10. This is incorrect. By looking at the strips that represent the fraction 1 by 5 and 8 by 10, you can clearly see that the fraction 1 by 5 is smaller than 8 by 10. Sometimes it is ignored to keep the wholes equal. For example, while comparing 2 by 6 and 1 by 4, the wholes are not marked equally. In such situations, by looking at the shaded part, students consider the fraction 1 by 4 is greater than 2 by 6. This is an incorrect understanding. The correct understanding is to make their parts by keeping the wholes equal and then comparing them. By doing so, we get the correct answer 1 by 4 is smaller than 2 by 6. Today, we saw a few misconceptions and common mistakes related to the comparison of fractions. Today, we will learn addition and subtraction of fractions. We do addition and subtraction of fractions every day. For example, if you buy half a kg of apples and 1.5 kg of oranges, then the total weight of fruit will be 2 kgs. Suppose you have 2.25 liters of milk, out of which you made kulfis with half a liter, then the remaining milk is 1 3/4 liters. Similarly, if you have 4 by 5 parts of a chocolate, out of which 1 by 5 parts is given to your friend, then the remaining chocolate will be 3 by 5 parts of the chocolate. Addition or subtraction of fractions is not always easy. Suppose Ramesh has 5 by 6 parts of a cake. If he wants to give 1/4 part of it to his friend, then to find out the remaining amount of cake, we need to subtract 1 by 4 from 5 by 6. To find the value of this, we need to know the rules of addition and subtraction of fractions. First, we will learn about the addition and subtraction of like fractions. Look at this square. We have divided this square into 16 equal parts. Out of the 16 parts, if we fill red color in 5 parts, then what will be the fraction of red part in the whole square? Think for a while. Absolutely correct. Since 5 out of 16 parts are painted red, the fraction of red part in the whole square is 5 by 16. Similarly, out of 16 parts, if we fill yellow color in 7 parts, then the fraction of yellow part in the whole square is 7 by 16. Now can you tell me the fraction of the colored part in the whole square? Since the size of all parts is equal, we can find the number of colored parts by adding the red colored parts and yellow colored parts. That is, we have to add the numerators of both fractions. Therefore, adding 5 parts and 7 parts gives the answer 12. That means we can say that 12 out of 16 parts are filled with color. So, the fraction of the colored part is 12 by 16. Thus, we can clearly say that 5 by 16 plus 7 by 16 is equal to 12 by 16. Therefore, in order to add any two or more than two like fractions, numerators are added and the common denominator is kept as it is. Now let us suppose you have 7 by 12 parts of a chocolate. If you give 3 by 12 parts of it to your sister, then what part is left with you? In order to find that, we have to subtract 3 by 12 from 7 by 12. As you can see, after giving 3 parts from 7 parts, the remaining parts are 4. Therefore, the fraction of the remaining parts is 4 by 12. Now can we say that 7 by 12 minus 3 by 12 is equal to 4 by 12? Yes, we can definitely say that. Since the denominator is the same, the numerators are subtracted from one another. Therefore, in order to subtract two or more than two like fractions, smaller numerator is subtracted from the larger numerator, and the common denominator is kept as it is. Now let us understand the addition and subtraction of unlike fractions. Let us find out how much chocolate we get by adding 2 by 5 parts and 1 by 3 parts of a chocolate. To do so, first we make two equal rectangles. To represent the fraction 2 by 5, we divide the first rectangle into 5 equal parts and shade 2 parts of it. Similarly, to represent the fraction 1 by 3, we divide the second rectangle into 3 equal parts and shade 1 part of it. Since the size of the parts is not equal, we cannot add them directly. If we make the number of parts equal, then the size of the parts get equal automatically. So let's make the number of parts equal. Can you think of a way to do this? Let me tell you. If we divide each of these 5 parts into 3 parts, then the total number of parts will be 15. Similarly, if we divide these 3 parts into 5 parts, then too we get 15. Now both rectangles are divided into 15 equal parts. Since here 6 out of 15 parts are shaded, the fraction will be 6 by 15. Similarly, here 5 out of 15 parts are shaded. Therefore, the fraction will be 5 by 15. Thus, the equivalent fraction of 2 by 5 is 6 by 15 and the equivalent fraction of 1 by 3 is 5 by 15. Now the total number of shaded parts in both the rectangles is 11 out of 15. Therefore, we can say that 2 by 5 parts and 1 by 3 parts of a chocolate make 11 by 15 parts of a chocolate. Now suppose you have 5 by 6 parts of a cake, out of which you have to give 1 by 4 parts of cake to your friend. How will you find the remaining part of cake? In order to find this, we need to subtract 1 by 4 from 5 by 6. Let us learn how to do this. First, we make 2 equal circles to represent the cake. To represent the fraction 5 by 6, we will divide the first circle into 6 equal parts and shade 5 parts. Similarly, to represent the fraction 1 by 4, we will divide the second circle into 4 equal parts and shade 1 part. Since the number of parts in these circles is not equal, we cannot subtract 1 by 4 from 5 by 6. So first, we make the number of parts equal. Can you think of a way to do this? Okay, let me tell you. If we divide each of these 6 parts into 2 parts, then we get 12 equal parts. Similarly, if we divide each of these 4 parts into 3 parts, then too we get 12 equal parts. Now that the total number of parts is equal, we can subtract them. Since here 10 out of 12 parts are shaded, the fraction is 10 by 12. Similarly here, 3 out of 12 parts are shaded. Therefore, the fraction is 3 by 12. Thus, the equivalent fraction of 5 by 6 is 10 by 12 and the equivalent fraction of 1 by 4 is 3 by 12. Now since the denominators are equal, we can subtract 3 parts from 10 parts. After subtraction, 7 out of 12 parts are remaining. Therefore, the subtraction of 1 by 4 from 5 by 6 is 7 by 12. Hence, in order to perform the addition and subtraction of unlike fractions, we need to make their denominators equal. Use of LCM is the simplest method to do this. For example, the LCM of denominator 5 of 2 by 5 and 3 of 1 by 3 is 15. Multiplying the numerator 2 and the denominator 5 of 2 by 5 by 3 will give 6 by 15. And multiplying the numerator and denominator of 1 by 3 by 5, we get 5 by 15. Since the denominators of both the equivalent fractions are equal, both are like fractions. And to find the sum, we add the numerators and keep the denominators as it is. Similarly, to find the difference, we subtract the numerators and the denominator is kept as it is. Today, we have learned addition and subtraction of fractions. In the next video, we will see some examples related to this. Today, we will see examples on addition and subtraction of fractions. Amar has brought 6.5 kgs of potatoes from the market. If his mother makes potato curry with 1 1/4 kg of potato, then what is the weight of the potatoes remaining? The total weight of potatoes brought from the market is equal to 6.5 kgs. The weight of the potatoes used to make the curry is 1 1/4 kg. The weight of the potatoes remaining can be found by subtracting 1 1/4 from 6.5. Here, 6.5 and 1 1/4 are mixed fractions. In order to perform subtraction, we will convert them into improper fractions. The improper fraction of 6½ is 13/2, and the improper fraction of 1 1/4 is 5/4. The weight of potatoes remaining can be found by obtaining the difference between 13/2 and 5/4. Here, the denominators are not equal. That means the size of the parts are not equal. In order to do subtraction, we need to make them equal. Can you tell me how to make the denominators equal? Think for a while. Absolutely correct. We use LCM to find the value of this. The LCM of 2 and 4 is 4. So both denominators will be 4. To do so, we will multiply the numerator 13 and the denominator 2 of 13/2 by 2. And since the denominator of 5/4 is already 4, it remains as it is. After multiplication, we get the fraction of 13/2 as 26/4. Now, we can subtract the numerator 5 from the numerator 26 and we keep the denominator as it is, giving a value of 21/4. The mixed fraction of this improper fraction is 5 1/4. Thus, we can say that the weight of potatoes remaining is 5¼ kg. Next example. Gaurav studied science for 7/5 hours and studied mathematics for 11/12 hours. What is the total time spent studying in a day? Gaurav studied science for 7/5 hours and studied mathematics for 11/12 hours. To find the total time spent by him on studying, we have to add 7/5 and 11/12. Since the denominators are not equal, we make them equal with the help of LCM. The LCM of 5 and 12 is 60. Now, we find the equivalent fractions of both fractions whose denominator will be 60. In order to do this, we will multiply the numerator 7 and the denominator 5 of 7/5/12. Similarly, we will multiply the numerator 11 and denominator 12 of 11/12/5. Now we get the equivalent fraction of 7/5 as 84/60 and 11/12 as 55/60. Since the denominators are equal, we add the numerator 84 with the numerator 55 and keep the denominator as it is. Therefore, the resultant fraction is 139/60. That means Gaurav has studied for 2 and 19/60 hours. Today, we have seen the examples on addition and subtraction of fractions. In the next video, we will clear some misconceptions related to this. Today, we will see misconceptions and common mistakes related to addition and subtraction of fractions. Misconception 1. Nandita bought 1/4 kg of curd. After some time, she bought another 1/2 kg of curd. What is the total amount of curd that she bought? Nandita bought 1/4 kg of curd and later she bought 1/2 kg of curd. To find the total amount of curd, we have to add 1/4 and 1/2. Sometimes addition of fractions is not understood properly. While adding them, the numerators and denominators are added separately. Therefore, the addition of 1/4 and 1/2 is written as 2/6. This is an incorrect understanding. Let us find out the correct solution to this. We can represent 1/4 like this. Similarly, 1/2 is represented like this. The size of the parts is not equal in both the figures. In order to make the size of the parts equal, we will divide each part of this rectangle into 2 equal parts. By doing this, we will get the equivalent fraction of 1/2 as 2/4. The size of the parts in both figures is equal now. So, we can add 1/4 and 2/4 directly. We will get 3 shaded parts by addition. Therefore, the sum of 1/4 and 1/2 is 3/4. Let us see a common mistake. While subtracting two mixed fractions, the smaller whole number is subtracted from the larger whole number and the smaller fraction is subtracted from the larger fraction. By doing so, we get an incorrect answer. The correct way to do this is to convert the mixed fractions into improper fractions. Then, the equivalent fractions of these fractions is found by making their denominators the same. Then, these fractions are subtracted. Now you try to find the solution of the following question. Smita had a 7 by 10 meter long lace, out of which she cut 3 by 5 meter lace. Find the length of the remaining lace by making a field example. Today, we have seen misconceptions and common mistakes related to addition and subtraction of fractions.